everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back. We are going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're going to be making these adorable Potbelly penguins. I love them. This die and kit is from Papertrey ink, and I think they're so stinking cute to give out for holiday favors. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, when you buy this setup, you're going to get several dies. You're going to get your penguin, and then you're also going to get a center die. I'm going to show you those two pieces right now first. Now, that little circle cuts out the part of his little pot belly, and that's where you can fill in with all your candies or your sequins. Now, for me, the easiest way to put this together is I line this up on my grid mat. And I'm going to place my little circle where I want it. And then I'm going to grab myself some washi tape. Now, using the washi tape is going to guarantee that his pot belly is in a perfect place every time I die cut. So if you are mass producing this, like I'm going to be doing this year, you want to make sure everything lines up. So I grabbed myself 3 pieces of washi tape to really securely keep this in place. And then I can just pick that up off of my mat, and my little belly is going to be centered every time I cut. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. I'm going to be making my penguin today out of red. I'm going to be making these in several colors this year. So I want to keep it really festive. And remember, you can have whatever color penguin you want to. It's your penguin. Make a statement. All right, so now since I have everything lined up, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my cutting mats, and then I'm going to run this through my Gemini Junior. Now you're going to need 2 of these, so keep that in mind. 2 penguins per pot belly. You're also going to get some other dies in here, and these dies are going to be for the eyes, the 2 little feet, and his adorable little beak. Now, again, if you're going to mass produce these, I would tell you to cut out everything at once. Cut out all your penguins, cut out all your white parts for your eyes, and cut out your beaks and your toes, or your beaks and your toes. All at one time, because then you can kind of get like an assembly rhythm going, and everything will be ready to put into place instead of like cutting one and then going back and have to cut again, especially if you're going to make more than, let's say, 2 of these. All right, so I'm going to run that through my die cut machine, and now I'm ready to assemble. But now before I assemble, I do want to use a sentiment, the Potbelly sentiments. There's several of them, and they're kind of like half circle shapes that fit along the top and the bottom part of your circle. I am going to use a sweet treat one because obviously mine is going to have treats in the inside. So I'm going to line that up right across the bottom of his tummy. And then I'm just going to use an acrylic block. Now, again, if you're going to mass produce these, go ahead and pull out that Misty and get everything lined up. And then you don't have to worry about anything lining up crooked. I went ahead and used a anti-static tool because I am going to be heat embossing this. Now, I did realize that my sentiment was not evenly spaced on or evenly on my acrylic block, and I don't want to make any errors at this point. So I just pulled it off and then I placed it back down. I'm grabbing some ink on 3 Juicy ink, which is a clear ink that you can use for heat embossing. Then I can go ahead and flip this over and place this right in the bottom of his belly. Excuse my head. I just really need to get right over that cute belly so I don't stamp this crooked. I can go ahead and press that down, and then I'm going to heat emboss this in white. Now, again, if your colors are lighter, you can skip the heat embossing part if you want to, and you can just use black ink. Now remember, these penguins are customizable, so do whatever you want to your little penguins. Now since I have that embossing pattern on there, I can go ahead and grab myself a paintbrush, and the paintbrush is just helping me get any stray white embossing powder in places or remove it from places I do not want it to be. Now since that's done, I'm going to heat up my heat gun, and I'm going to get it pretty warm before I bring it to my penguin because then I want my penguin to bow. So now since that's nice and hot, I can go ahead and bring that over and melt down that white embossing powder. So here are the pieces that I cut out, and now we're to the assembly part of all this. This is where the fun begins and your little penguin comes to life. I use wet adhesive on this. I just find that this works a little bit better for me, but as you can tell, I ran out of my favorite adhesive. So I'm just going to switch over to my Nuvo, and I just keep that Gina K pen out on my desk because it's just so easy to use. But it's okay. You can use whatever wet adhesive that you like. I'm just going to come back in and finish adding that down. Now, if you wanted to, you could add double-sided tape. I like to use the glue because this allows me a little bit of wiggle room on getting my pieces in place before it dries. Now, since I have the eye section on, I can go down to his cute little toes. Now I am going to use my tweezers for this because this is going to help me line everything up because these pieces are really small. So I can go ahead and pop them in place. And now remember what I said, this is customizable. So you can put whatever color feet and beak you want on your penguin. I just chose this color because I think it really pops against the red. And it's a scratch piece of paper, so I'm really sorry that I cannot tell you the company. I do want to think that it was a Bazzill paper because I seem to have a lot of that in my stash. Next, I'm going to put on his little beak. And again, using that glue gives me the opportunity to really get that in place. Now, don't forget, he doesn't have any eyes yet. You can die cut out the eyes if you want. There is a die for that. But also in the stamp set, there are 3, I believe, little sets of eyeballs. So you can pick whichever one you want, or again, you can die cut them out. I'm going to go for the larger eyeballs for this one. So I'm just placing it in place, and then I can use my acrylic block and go ahead and pick that up. Now, what's so cool about this is that the circles are connected between a piece of on your stamp, so you know they're not going to be like crooked. They're going to like be evenly spaced. Sorry again for my head, but I really need to get over this penguin to make sure I get those eyes in place. And look how cute. Just so stinking cute. All right, now comes the fun part. Now we have to put our Potbellies together. So you need to get these plastic disc inlays for your Potbelly, and you can pick these up at Papertrey Inc. as well. I recommend, if you're going to do a lot of these, to make sure to pick up some extras. And I'm filling mine with M&Ms. Now you can fill this with any small candy you want, like Red Hots would totally be cute in this penguin. If you want to fill it with Tic Tacs, or if you just want to fill it with confetti pieces, sprinkles, glitter, totally up to you. I will say, once you get your items in there, grab the second lid and put it on top because you want to make sure that your little thing is full. Now, I just noticed that I need to add a few more M&Ms to mine. Now, you could leave this with some room if you wanted to, if you were just doing it as a regular shaker card, but I want mine to be packed full of chocolate. So now I can see once I lift it up, it's totally full. Now, to get this closed, I'm going to use some thermal wet Zot dots. This is going to allow me to put 4 little glue dots around this encasing just to keep it closed. Now, I do know I'm going to give this to some children, and I know they're going to want to open this up. So all you have to do is place them right across from each other. So almost like a cross against your little shaker bits. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to take one of the glue dots. I'm not peeling it off the backing. I'm just laying it on the side, and then I can press down. And I want to press pretty firmly on this to keep that glue dot in place. And then I can just go ahead and peel back the backing. Now, as you see, there's one there. I'm going to rotate this and do one right on the opposite end of that on the side. So I'm going to go all the way around, almost like quarter points, all the way around this little circle. And this does two things. One, it keeps that little shaker part that's filled with the goodies or glitter together. And it's also going to allow me to add this piece to the penguin. Now, I will say this, if you're going to use anything that's not edible, that does not need to come apart, I would highly suggest that you glue this down, that you use double-sided strong tape, because you don't want that glitter to be leaking out. Now, since I have all my glue dots, it's now time to put together our little Potbellies. So I'll lay this down, and I'm just going to temporarily set it right in a little opening. And I'm going to take my top piece and make sure I have that in place. Now, I'm not worried too much about this lining up. I just want to make sure I get my Potbelly evenly onto the front part. And then I'm going to go ahead and press down just a little bit. And now I can start lining things up. Now, I did realize that the Potbelly had not gone all the way through to the back of the other piece correctly. So I'm just going to gently pull that up, and then I'll go ahead and put my back on. Now, once I have that in place where I want it, I have my feet lined up and my little sides are lined up, I can go ahead and start pressing this down in place. And look how adorable this is. It's so cute. Now, if you want to, you can add a little string to the top and hang it like an ornament, but I'm just going to hand these out as little gifts. Okay, that wraps up today's videos. Now, as I made this video, these products were still available at Papertrey Inc. So head on over and grab yourself some Potbellies. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you back for day 11 soon. Take care. Bye-bye.